Ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to the final game of the 2023-2024 NFL season. It's the big game. John Warner told me before the show, don't you dare call it the Super Bowl. Fuck, I just did. I'm sorry, John. I know I wasn't supposed to say it. The big game. We're breaking it down here. Pete Overzet and the BadgeBros. Pick'ems. Maybe we even get in a few private drafts, all the top plays, and maybe, if you play your cards right, a little spice in your life. John, I'm sorry. You gave me the script. I messed it up. Nez, hopefully you guys can forgive me. I know you got a good thing going over here. The last thing you need is a big lawsuit from Roger taking the stream down.
We just got a notification for a copyright strike as we speak. So way to go, Pete. We're screwed.
Rodman's already flooding our DMs.
Back when Spags and I were doing off-season splash play, back before we were just like drafting whenever we were on the air, we did that WWE show, and it was like NFL players who had done wrestling stuff, and we got taken down live on air by showing a couple clips. Because normally it's like after the fact, they're like, you got to remove this video or whatever. No, they just shut down the goddamn stream for showing one clip live during the show. So you do got to be careful.
Vince McMahon doesn't mess around, dude.
I know.
I mean, that's not a topic we want right now.
No, true. How are you guys doing? You guys are in baseball mode, big board mode, haven't set your sights on the Super Bowl. That's what I'm hearing on the streets.
It's a little hard to get like fully into it without a draft game contest and stuff, but I feel like we've made a happy medium today by getting into it with the pick'em stuff, getting into it with some private drafts. So yeah, I mean, NBA taking up most of our day-to-day time there. And then, yeah, baseball over big board right now for me. It's a little too early. We've done a couple big boards and done a couple big board shows, but a little too early.
Yeah, I'm soft protesting. I always do my first draft of the year with Underdog the Super Bowl weekend. So I'm like, I'm at least holding out until then. What about you, Nez?
No, I haven't. I've done like 3 just to kind of get a feel, and I don't know any of these rookies or anything yet outside of like the big popular ones. But I will say it does seem like for the most part the rankings on opening day, so to speak, for the big board had a pretty good ADP starting out for some of these rookies. Like I don't think a lot of the movement has been too drastic. So hats off to them for putting them in good spots so far, seemingly according to the field. But not a lot for me. Getting really in the nitty gritty with baseball and sticking to the basketball dailies. But I miss my football drafts, man. The position drafts are just so different than basketball. So I'm missing it big time.
I will say it's not because I'm looking down, condescending on it. It's just I know myself, and I will get addicted if I start drafting these now. So I'm trying to set up some good off-season habits first, and then we can kind of dip our toes in. What were you gonna say, John?
Habit stacking your underdog exposures. I like that.
That's right.
I was about to say we got some breaking news that I think only we could break, Nez. This is relative to the big board here. This is a baseball trade that has big parallels to Pete's bags. This is Jackson Smith-Njigba's brother being traded from the Pirates to the Mariners. So now I'm going spin zone, JSN down year last year because of proximity to his brother previously. Now in the same city together again. What do you think?
Wow. Does his brother get drafted? Like, is he a fantasy relevant player?
I was drafting him last year. I drafted him last year because I'm sick and I find ways to get dusty Pirates on my teams. No, he has the chance to kind of make some noise, especially for the Mariners. But no, you shouldn't draft him in your dingers. He will not be a part of our player pool when we do our annual dinger draft with you down the road.
Yeah, we should mention, I will, we've talked a little bit, some of the off-season plans for off and on the clock. We might have a different time and stuff, but we'll keep the show going, and I will be dabbling in some other sports. Who knows? Maybe I even do more than just a one-off dinger draft. Maybe you can turn me into a baseball guy for a little bit. It's funny you mentioned Jackson Smith and Jigba. Did you see the other clip going viral with him from the Super Bowl today?
No.
So he did an interview. I think it was with some Chicago Bears guys. And so then they were asking, hey, Shane Waldron, your former OC, now with us, what are your thoughts? Any thoughts on him? Like, pretty harmless question. Jackson Smith and Jigba. It was like he just froze. And the implication was, if you don't have anything nice to say about him, don't say anything at all. And he did not say anything at all. So
like literally,
JSN, not a fan of Shane Waldron. And as someone who kept waiting for the proper JSN breakout all year, I agree, buddy. I'm not a fan either. Hard to blame you.
This is great that we got 2 big board bull cases for JSN in the same day right now.
There you go.
Nothing changes.
Exactly what we needed.
I literally, Nez, I'm telling you, you can give me breaking news. I have no clue. Where is he going in these early drafts?
I actually don't know either, because I was not looking for him. I would have to look it up real quick.
You're not looking for JSN in an early draft? What's wrong with you?
I don't know who I was looking for. I was looking for like Malik Neighbors. I wanted the rookies. I wanted in on them before.
You want the next JSN, the next guy that we overdraft only to disappoint us.
Exactly. You know how we work.
We got JSN at 61 right now.
Okay. Yeah. That was about where I predicted it. Yeah. That was my take. Everyone was like, oh, he's going to go much later. And I said, no. I used the Najee Harris comparison, not to trigger Nez, where I was like, there will be like 2 to 3 bulls in every draft and one of them will not let him slip past, the 6th round or whatever.
It only takes one. But Najee's at a good place right now. I don't know if do you want to take a guess at Najee's ADP?
This one I think I saw. Isn't he like 85 or something?
He is exactly 85.
Okay. Yeah. I'm in on that price. Do you know what was so funny, Nez? You'll love this. I was doing XM radio. It was right before the Arthur Smith. And I mean, literally 10 minutes before. Wow. I started going on a Najee thing. And I did my whole rant about it being just price-based. And I pulled up the early underdog ones. And I'm like, this is a good price for Najee. Like, this is where David Montgomery and Isaiah Pacheco and all these other guys in committee backs were going. This is a nice place to take a stab on him. And then immediately after, Keto goes, breaking news, Arthur Smith to the thing. And it was like she had trapped me. It was like I finally said something nice about Najee Harris, and then they had to bring Arthur Smith into the mix.
So this is good for the Warren Bulls, right? If you're a believer that Arthur Smith is just gonna copy paste the Falcons offense to the Steelers, I don't know. I think the Najee price is totally palatable as well, of course. Last year was just a bit of a goofy game theory stand. This actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, for God's sake, man, it can't get worse, right?
No, and the thing about Najee is he's competent enough for Arthur Smith to love him, but not special enough for him to be relegated because Arthur Smith wants to be super fancy. Like, he's in that Arthur Smith Goldilocks zone where he's going to trust him, but he's just not so good that Arthur Smith is like, actually, I want to give Anthony McFarland touches.
Yes, that is so true.
Slightly better Tyler Algier. And that's got Arthur Smith licking his chops.
Oh man. And you guys were worried about us being able to do a full off season of shows, and we're already in the weeds on the Steelers on Super Bowl week. I will say, like, I've been writing the newsletter this week. It's an oddly slow week. Like, you would think there would be more to write about. I'm like writing about Jerick McKinnon having a chance to play, writing about Kadarius Toney. I mean, there's not a lot going on right now, which feels weird considering we have the biggest game of the year on Sunday.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ness. Yeah, sorry.
I think that Taylor Swift kind of took the wind out of everybody's sails. Everybody got like way too exhausted on the Taylor Swift discourse, and now we're all just tired, and we're just waiting for waiting for some good media day coverage. I saw Denny Carter was doing some interviews and stuff, looking all nice and snazzy. So I'm waiting for his content.
This is where we're at, where I look way more forward to seeing like Denny's personal content than it's like, okay, he's going to interview Puka. I'm sure it'll be fine, but I would rather just see Denny in all his different outfits in front of famous Las Vegas landmarks.
That's where we're at now.
I want.
Same. Yeah. That's where we're at. It's kind of weird.
There's 2 things I want to hit on there, Pete. Congratulations. Your XM show got nominated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats. FSWA award, right?
Yeah, I mean, we always go up against some of the heavy hitters there, so I don't know what our true odds are of winning. But if you want to throw us in one of your pick'ems, I think you're getting some nice spice on Fantasy Life, taking it home.
Little 3x spice.
little 3.5x spice.
Yeah,
Jeff Ratcliffe coming in at a 0.8 x spice there.
He's got the CMC price tag right now.
That's right.
That's legit. What's your plan for I mean, I haven't been watching a ton of content and stuff this week. What's your plan, and what's some of the Underdog plan for big game and stuff? Like, I know Jack's in Vegas right now. Are you going to Vegas or Arizona?
I'm going to Arizona. I know some of those guys are split. Like, I was just talking to our guy Sam Berman. He's in Vegas now, but popping over to Arizona. I think Brett Coleman just landed because I saw him post a photo at the place we're staying at. Yeah, I think Underdog basically was like, you know, they like having their crew come out, but then the logistics, I think, for doing that in Vegas with a bigger group was just not tenable. So they're running it back at the same place. So yeah, I'm flying out tomorrow. I think we're going to the Suns game tomorrow night. So I'm going to need you guys. If any of you guys want to build pick'ems for me for the Suns game, send me those links. I will auto tail. And then, yeah, we're going to be doing, I believe, a couple streams on Friday. That's when I'll be popping my big board cherry. I know Nick Ercolano is going to be out there. I don't know what other drafters we're going to have on that stream. And then Sunday morning, we'll have the typical pre-kickoff stream, hopefully get the mimosas flowing, build some pick'ems, all of that good stuff on Sunday morning. So you should be able to find that all on the I assume it's going to be on the Underdog Fantasy account, but I'll tweet it out when I know.
Is it going to be alongside Hayden, Josh, Brett, like that?
These are the things I'm in the dark on. I just know I'll be doing some big board streams and a Sunday morning Super Bowl stream.
Sweet. Nice. Tomorrow's game is Utah, Nez. So
Pete,
is that a good one?
Yeah, we got some hires for you, big time.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definite hires game. We're gonna have some fun there.
And Utah's interesting because they went like 11 deep in their rotation last night and stuff. So we'll get a whole bunch of Sun stuff going for that one.
We got employees watching, man. We can't let them tinker the projections, man. We got this, Pete. Don't worry.
Okay.
Newbie's already ripped
on the down low.
Trust me. There's some good ones.
I'm already tilting because yesterday on the club, and by the way, we are simulcasting this on both channels. So whether you guys are watching on the BadgeBros YouTube channel or my channel, thank you guys. See all the YouTube members in the chat across both channels. Appreciate all of you guys. We were on the club yesterday building some pick'ems, and Andy had us toss in an NBA player one from last night, which felt like a great idea until I have to stare at this red dot in my beautiful Super Bowl pick'em like card throughout the rest of the week. And I didn't think this through, where I'm like, it's done. It's dead. Like Sengun didn't get 38 points, rebounds, assists. Get it off my screen, Neumy. Get it off. I don't want to have to stare at it.
That's a tough break too. That was a great matchup, and the game scored a ton of points. That's a bad beat. Sorry that Andy had to do that to you.
Yeah, that was a really good spot. I would have been on that one with you guys too.
How are the hoop streets going though overall? I've been seeing a ton of contests. I've been seeing the John Boy Beats power ranks. My guy Mike Zakarian been on a bit of a heater, I've noticed lately. What's going on over there in the hoops world?
Community's on fire right now. Nez and I are treading water and breaking even over the last couple, and the community is just coming in here and scooping everything. There's been some super sharp plays and stuff. Actually, that's not true. Nez, you took down the early slate the other night.
Yeah, there were two early slates. I almost took down both. We had to put up a second one. So had a good slate there. But the past 24 days have been like up and down, break even, but still pretty solid on the year. So can't complain there. I think what's cool though is, if you're not in the Discord, definitely hop in the Deposit Kingdom Discord, is the hoops thread has seen a lot of growth. A lot of people from the leaderboards have actually joined in. So we're all just kind of friends, just competing against one another, which I think it's very cool to see the growth. I don't want to gatekeep the community or anything like that. So it's seeing a lot of growth from people on the leaderboards coming in and finding us.
So there's growth from two directions, right? There's the people who hop in, they want to learn, see the chatter, see the conversation, get better. And then there's the guys that have been winning and they need their flowers. So they hop in and they're like, oh, X and X is in the Discord. You've been winning. And they're like, yeah, I have. Funny that I just showed up.
Yeah.
that is literally copper prices. That is literally copper prices to a T. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been fun. It's been fun. I'm still grinding, but yeah, no, it's a good time. So definitely hop in there.
Did you guys already shout out? I haven't got a chance to mess around with it, and I'm blanking on his Twitter name, but that tool for tracking underdog exposures, that looked pretty sweet.
Yeah, Scott. So he's had like 3 different handles. He was Flaccid Waffle, and then he was the Wood. So you go from Flaccid to Wood. I don't know what's going on there, but it's Scott. His name's Scott, and and he's done awesome work. He has tools, so that way if you are like drafting NBA at volume, you can upload your drafts that you've done, and then look at like a matrix to see like the combinatorial pairings that you have and who you're pairing a lot together. So that way you can know in your mind whether it's via rankings adjustments or manual adjustments. Make your adjustments there. He's got a results tracker. He's doing a lot of like really awesome stuff. So shout out to Scott. I'll try to find. I got to find his handle and plug that because it is awesome. And I know that he was very grateful for the retweets and everything that people gave his posts. He said he got like 40K views on his website after everybody shared that. So he was pumped for that and definitely worth it.
Look at that. People are hungry. I mean, I'm going to call it right now. This is going to be a banner off season for Underdog related tools and data. I mean, now that we got all the Battle Royale data out, we saw just what even having the Best Ball Mania data did for sparking conversations. Leone's manifesto. We did the Fantasy Data Pros competition. Once we get more of this out and we get all the gigabrains out here, whether with their coding skills or their data analytics skills, like we are going to be knee deep in fun stuff to analyze and help our play this offseason.
I'm a little afraid, Pete. The games might pass old John Boy by here. You know, the community's getting really sharp.
That's right. That's why we need to find the next batch. The community's gotten too sharp, which means, John, you and I need to pivot into Thread Bros. We need to pull in some of the people that are, just love tailing picks. We bring them in here with our spicy margs, and then we red pill them into also becoming drafters. I think that has to be our long-term plan.
That has to be.
It's a brilliant pipeline. Can't fail.
The only pitfall of this is we just told everyone our plan.
That is true, but no one ever goes back in the archives. They're starting with the new episode. So we're fine. Everyone keep it a secret here. I actually wanted to ask you guys a question because I did see people asking it a bunch on Twitter. I don't know if you guys addressed it or if Neumy did. People were wondering why there aren't draft style contests for the Super Bowl like there were last year. Have we gotten an official statement on that?
We kind of just directed people to last year's episode with Rudman post Super Bowl is kind of what we said. Cause we said it right on the Monday show there, Nez, after the conference championship finished. So if people want to go back and watch, we did kind of like 10-15 minutes on it where it's just kind of like the one game ones have just played poorly. And it's why all the primetime Palooza stuff shifted to 2 games or 3 games or whatever this year, because as soon as you lose positional designation in football and, stuff just gets really messy with, you're basically looking at, if you ran like an 80,000 person contest, like they did last year for this, you're going to get a 5,000 person dupe train, or you're going to get, 79,000 people pissed off that a CMC plus Mahomes exists. So it's just not worth the hassle. Play it in cash game lobbies, play it in private lobbies and that sort of thing. And then play the pick'em stuff, which I think I fully agree with. I mean, maybe in the future we can think of a way to do it, but the way we currently draft games, probably not ideal for a single game sample of football.
Yeah, it's just not. I've said it. Even like the 2-game slates aren't as interesting to me, much less the 1-game slates. And then you have it's like the same people complaining that the contests don't exist are then the people that will complain that someone else got the combo that they spent the entire time trying to chase. It's like, but if you would have gotten it, you would have been okay with the rolling up your sleeve. So I completely understand why they don't do it. I don't have any good ideas right now, but there has to be some kind of remix on the single game drafting style. I think I had floated once, like you had 2 copies of players, or there has to be a fun remix on it, because there are some people who just want to get their drafting fix. And I certainly understand that, but I also understand that it's just not possible in its current format.
I think the future of this is sort of like Pick'em Champions, where it's you're picking projections of higher or lower, and you are up against a field of other Pick'em players, where you're kind of scoring based on who was right and who was wrong, and then maybe you give like bonus points depending on how correct you were, and that can get a little dicey, I guess, if you take a lower and a guy gets hurt or something. Like, there'd have to be nuances to that, but I think that's probably the best way to do it, as opposed to just like raw score. It's like, here's a projection and make a pick based on said projection. That's and we've also talked about also like doing some sort of multiplier for like last round picks. So if you are taking, if it's a 4-player draft in a 1-game contest, then that 4th round is like 1.5x or 2x for your last round pick, just to kind of add an interesting wrinkle to kind of even things out. But otherwise, yeah, it's just not worth the blowback that they would get if somebody got lucky, basically.
Yeah. So there we do have you can do private contests, right? Or is it head to head? What's the format for the contest in the lobby, John?
Yeah, we got 2 players. We got 3 players up in the lobbies right now that you can play against anyone. And then you also have the ability here. You know what? I'll just bring it up real quick, because actually, we're going to do it in a minute anyways. But you can just go ahead and okay, it's going to be way.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail our flow here. I was
no. You're good. I just wasn't prepared yet. Yeah, let's go there. So there's the offerings currently in the lobbies right there. But then if you click this little eye icon, like we're going to do in a minute here, you can go ahead and create a private draft right there. So we'll create a private draft. We'll just, put it in the YouTube chat, first come, first serve, or whatever, to the community. And we can draft 3 persons in that regard there, all the way up to, I think it was $100. Oh, we got 500 up there. 1,000.
There's
Holy
1,000.
smokes.
John,
$1,000 head to heads.
Single game for pink slips. Let's go, buddy.
That's where T-Box lives. He's just lurking in there waiting for you to enter those contests.
Yeah, I don't want to misclick. He's gonna catch me with my pants down.
But it's interesting that they are super flex, and they are, I believe, full PPR.
Really?
Yes. So it's
you're right.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a completely different format than we're used to, and it really evens out. Like, I mean, I think CMC is still 1-0-1 even in a super flex format with full PPR, but it really does kind of make for interesting drafts, because I don't think it's necessarily cut and dry as far as like who to take.
And we got the kickers in there too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. If you're in a head to head like that, like say you're playing like 1K head to head and you roll like the 102, is it more advantageous to just have both quarterbacks? Or is it more advantageous to have like CMC Kelsey Rice or CMC Kelsey Debo?
And would this be a 2-person or a 3?
I imagine 2. Like I was envisioning 2. Like if we were playing head to head right now.
And you're saying basically, are you talking about like stacking up versus just drafting the best player? Sorry, I think I lost you on the question.
I was thinking about the draft
1-0-1.
Yeah.
And then you're number 2, and then you have the next 2 picks. Are you double tapping Mahomes Purdy? Or
I think so, right? Because you're just trying to get the most projection in possible there, right?
I would think so. Now, which side of that 2v2 would you want? Is kind of what I was getting at.
I guess the funny thing is I did just pull up like the ETR projections, and they do have in full PPR Kelsey projected ahead of Purdy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's so you kind of, in a head-to-head, maybe you just do like the Mahomes Kelsey thing, and then you just take the stack and then hope that Purdy fails.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the value in boosting that correlation too? Because like this, remember when we played the head-to-head week when Pete was doing the cash game, thing, and I did the gal brain of like, well, he's got Hurts. If I take AJ Brown with my last pick, now I'm like countering some scoring. Like, what would be the meta in this? Is it good to like usurp some points from your opponent? Because if Kelsey scores a touchdown, it's worth more to you than Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
Or is that like putting the condom on a head-to-head?
Right. I guess it would probably also depend on like the volume you're playing in these as well, right? It's also, man, like, what do you guys even just think about this Mahomes projection in general? Like, looking at his line for fantasy points on Underdog, you know, it seems like a little frothy to me. You know, he seems like the consensus second best raw play to everyone, like even on like Redacted for the captain stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just not sold on Mahomes, his form right now, as far as it goes for like fantasy. I'm just not seeing it.
I think the best way to articulate it is the IQ meme like that, right? And like we're living in that middle of man, this doesn't make sense. Where's Mahomes' ceiling been? He hasn't eclipsed like 20 fantasy points in forever and blah blah blah. And on both ends of the spectrum, it's just like Mahomes in the playoffs as an underdog. Like, you know,
right.
It's just like I can't explain it any other way.
But this isn't me saying that. It has nothing to do with the spread or even the Chiefs winning. The Chiefs have won 3 straight games playing really good football, and Mahomes has not shown anything resembling a fantasy ceiling.
And how have the teams had success? I mean, nobody's beat San Fran the last 2 games, but how have the teams had success against them? It's all been on the ground. You know,
right.
Montgomery for 90 yards, the end around to JMO for 40, another 50 for Gibbs, 108 for Aaron Jones. So you do think if they're going to beat them, it doesn't necessarily have to funnel through Mahomes either. So to like further layer onto your point. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a disaster in that regard. Pitch saying here hasn't got for 20 plus points since week 7. I mean, you really have to run hot on the touchdowns with him, right? Because like everything's at the line of scrimmage. I mean, even Rashee Rice's ADOT is hilariously low. I mean, there's a reason why you're getting spice on Mahomes throwing for 2 touchdowns, right? Is it 1.5?
It's 2. It's actually, I checked today. I think it's 2.5. Now,
is it 2.5?
Like, yeah, which like I can't play that.
Yeah,
but I do like. I kind of do like playing Mahomes in 2 separate ways, not to completely pivot to a pick'em conversation. I like thinking Mahomes can rush for a touchdown in this game.
Yeah.
2x, you know, if you don't think that's enough, like that's fine. Or you can play Mahomes rushes for a touchdown and doesn't do much else. And you can then play it from Mahomes fantasy points perspective. I've played around with pick'ems way too much where you do the Mahomes higher. Right.
Yeah.
And then that you play that as though he's getting there via rushing and not passing. And then you can do like lowers with his pass catchers. And then you get a boost to your pick 'em in that way. It's super gal brain. I fully acknowledge this, but it's just different ways to kind of boost your payouts on here. Cause I think that's kind of like the new edge, in my opinion. What I'm looking for is like, I am fully spice pilled. I'm fully like, how do I get more payout, more bang for my buck, even if they are less probable picks? Like, I just want to hit big.
That's pretty smart, dude.
For sure. I like that too. And honestly, I was kind of even playing that, not even thinking through the rushing angle of like, Mahomes can definitely go under 2 on his fantasy points with guys like Noah Gray clearing whatever it is, 11.5. Or my favorite thing on the board, and we'll get to it, is the MBS spice over 38 or 39.5.
Oh my God.
It's like, but those things can hit with Mahomes just having one of the games he's been having where he scores 17 fantasy points or whatnot.
Right. And you get a boost on those.
Yeah.
Like, they don't care who you're taking. If they negatively correlate, you will get a boost. So I really like just finding ways to kind of like fight back against the projections, the variable projections that they have going on right now, and just finding ways to make it like get more bang for your buck. And that is an awesome way to do it too.
For sure. And I was noticing it. We were kind of doing this on the club yesterday with the rivals, where you can kind of use the rivals as ways to get leverage that doesn't get a dock. So as an example, Brock Purdy, you take him 15.5. And I realize we're just jumping all over the place, but I assume people don't give a shit. We're just do whatever we want.
You
take Brock Purdy 15.5 passing yards spot versus Mahomes, but then you take Pacheco 23.5 rushing yards versus CMC. So you're saying like Mahomes isn't throwing a ton. It's a way more Pacheco, which makes it easier for Brock Purdy. And you're getting the fat side of the spot on both of those as well. So like those kind of anti-correlated things that help you out are nice.
Yeah, you really got to think about like how you are playing these and playing them as smart as possible. And that is such a great way to still use correlation and use, good game theory on your side and not dock your payouts. Like that's still 3x. That's a great way to think through these.
And just to piggyback it, and it's not just the correlation boost. We're actually showing these as having value in the Fantasy Life projection. So Fantasy Life has Brock Purdy dead ass projected for more passing yards than Patrick Mahomes.
And I like
17. Wow. So if you trust those projections, you're getting almost over a 30-yard spot on Brock Purdy here. And then if you look at the rushing yards, McCaffrey is projected for 96 on Fantasy Life. We have Pacheco at 80. So that's a 16 spot. So you're still getting another 7 yards of value there, plus the added correlation benefits of how those two work in tandem.
Really good shout. That's how you got to play these, man.
Boys are dialed right now. I'm not gonna lie. That was some knowledge, gentlemen.
Well, we've been in the. I mean, it's been a long week when I just like now can't make a pick'em without the 2.5 spice on that MVS because I'm just like, dude, if this guy's hitting, like it takes. I thought it was wild because they have his receptions set at 1.5. And I'm like, if MVS has 2 receptions, he's going to have 40 plus yards. So just take the 2.5x spice on it. Like they're not scheming MVS touches at the line of scrimmage. It's not goddamn Deebo Samuel over here.
Yeah. And to your point on the MVS stuff, because it was one that I liked. I mean, look at this uptick in routes last week when they've just kind of like left McCole Hardman for dead. He goes 96% of routes last week. He's the guy they throw the ball to on 4th down to seal the game. Yeah, man, I'm drinking a little bit of MVS Kool-Aid right now as well.
It's a wild jump in his routes, that pop up to 96%. I mean, isn't that just full capitulation on Andy Reid? It's like we've tried every goddamn thing. Darius Toney has his head up his ass. Sky Moore is injured. Mecole Hardman has his head up his ass. Like I can only ask so much of Noah fucking Gray. MVS, take the wheel. You are our savior now. That's Andy Reid's internal monologue.
That's exactly what he said.
More or less. Our emo cowboy dropping a little 269. Praise be. Pour out the red solo cup for our guy Toby Keith yesterday. Tough scene.
Cheers.
Yeah, did any of you guys have any thoughts on how this could impact Reba McEntire's anthem? I believe she was publicly mourning him. I'm thinking she holds the notes a little extra longer for Toby. So I'm leaning over 90 seconds. She's going to make a fucking meal out of it.
Make a meal out of it. Only in the right states. It's highly regulated. Not every state's offering that.
Sorry.
On the game in general, we're just getting into the game, the big game. What do you guys foresee happening just, outside of the like on the macro? I personally see this game shooting out low key. I think this is going to be
interesting.
Oh yeah, I think this is going to be an awesome game, and I think it starts with. I asked you guys a question, but let me tell you what I think first.
Let's go bigger boxes for Nez. He's about to tell us a story. I need to hear this story because I'm on the other side of this, and I really hope you're right.
Do we have the overlays to put me? I
didn't even need the full box. It's just something a little bigger. There we go.
All right. It starts with the fact that the 49ers This is me just suffering multiple bad beats in the playoff best ball streets where I faded the Niners in every which way possible, and they should have lost twice. They should have lost to the Lions, and they should have lost to the goddamn Packers. And
it's a stretch to call. Hold on, it's a stretch to call multiple bad beats the overwhelming Super Bowl favorite making it to the Super Bowl.
I'm talking about multiple bad beats. Yeah.
Okay.
The results themselves were bad beats. They should have lost to the Packers and they should have lost to the Lions, and they didn't. And I was perfectly set up to just dominate, but that didn't happen. But what was happening in those games that we talked about? Well, the Niners were extremely vulnerable on the ground, and not only were they just vulnerable on the ground, their defense in general is just like wildly overrated. They are not going to be able to stop the Chiefs. The Chiefs are dealing death by 1,000 cuts to every team that they play, just dinking and dunking and running just on whoever they want. So they're going to be able to score it well on the Niners, which is fantastic because we want the Niners to play up pace. We want the Niners to have to go blow for blow with the Chiefs. And the Chiefs defense is obviously extremely stout. Like that is the worrisome part here, is that the Chiefs defense could have their way with Brock Purdy, and we could be dealing with the Seattle versus Broncos style Super Bowl where we're expecting fireworks and we get an absolute ass beating. But if the Chiefs force the Niners to play some fast-paced ball, take some home run shots, and we get a little, heavyweight battle back and forth, I can see this game hitting 60. So I'm all over the hires. Love this game.
I'm a fish in that I'm over the hires on Underdog, but like the lower spread. No, I guess my concern, the part I disagree with is I think I'd almost, to your point, I would almost want it flipped. Like I would want the Chiefs in a negative game script and forcing them to take the ball out of Isaiah Pacheco's hands and throw more, where I feel like the Niners will still dial up like more explosive plays in more neutral game scripts. Whereas we saw the Chiefs didn't score a goddamn point in the second half last week. And they're like, we'll just let Pacheco run it, long drives, punt, field goal, whatever. I more worry about them getting pushed than the Niners.
See, I don't know what was up with that AFC Championship game, because what were the Ravens doing, right? I think they're guilty. Yeah, like they're guilty for why that played out why it did. I don't think that was necessarily like the Chiefs offense sputtering. It was just like we could stay as vanilla as we wanted because the Ravens couldn't do anything on their side of the ball. They couldn't hold up their end of the bargain. Whereas the Niners probably can, but I do worry that the Chiefs defense is just going to have their way with it. But Brock Purdy could, show everybody that he was deserving of a MVP vote.
The other reason, Nez, I guess why I want the Niners from a positive game script is because what I saw in that game against the Lions was Kyle Shanahan coming out of the second half, and he's like, I do not trust this guy, Lee Harvey Oswald, one bit. To do this on his own. He says, you know what you're going to do? You're going to throw it to Deebo Samuel at the line of scrimmage. You're going to hand it off to Christian McCaffrey. And if you need to, you can scramble Lee Harvey. Like that's what he told him to do. Like he neutered the playbook because Brock was playing scared, where it's like, I want momentum, Brock. I want Niners are rolling and then force the Chiefs to be like, we can't just rush the ball 20 times with Pacheco. So I feel like we can get there. I just think we need it to come from the other game script.
See, I'm kind of like hearing what you're both saying, and I'm a little bit in the middle because I think the way in which both these teams win is on the ground, because that's the best matchup I see for both. Because like, what's Kansas City going to do to Brock? They're going to blitz a lot, and they're going to put wide receivers on islands. So it's all going to be like get ball out quickly. And like, I think there's only been 2 touchdowns scored by opposing WR1s and 2s against the Chiefs this season. And it was Zay Flowers, like literally last game. And then it was, I mean, if you want to call, why am I blanking on the Bills guy?
Shakir.
Yeah. If you want to call
brilliant
him
pass
WR2 or whatever like that. Like they hadn't like given anything up like that before. So like they're going to blitz heavy. It's going to be like ball out quickly, dump off stuff around the line of scrimmage. It's going to be Deebo. It's going to be CMC. And then on the flip side, like this is one of my favorite little ones. I'll bring up our guy, Connor Allen we were hanging out with him in Vegas there at the ship chasing thing. Oh, there we go. I like this little one here is like the Niners don't blitz and they have like an incredible front 4 that they rush and like drop back, play zone coverage behind. That's what Mahomes has struggled the most with this season. So I think like their clear path to winning is via Pacheco on the ground, because I think that's where Niners are most vulnerable. So if we're painting a narrative where the two sides both successful plays are ball out quickly and run attack, like I just see clock moving, and I feel it's like really hard to score a ton of points that way unless you're breaking off like big plays on low A dots. That's where I'm at.
I do think that is probably where a lot of over-unders hinge, is like, can you get the big play that speeds it up? Can you get the goddamn ball bouncing off of Brandon Ayuk's helmet again? Can you get Pacheco actually breaking one of those free to where both these teams, because what you want is that sense of fear placed in the other team of like, holy shit, they just scored quick and they're going to keep scoring, and we cannot take anything for granted. Like, we need as many points as we can get. Whereas the opposite happened in that AFC Championship game where the Chiefs were like, this team's a fucking joke. We'll just salt away the clock this entire second half because they're going to, fumble it away on their own.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy when you compare the two quarterbacks and the way in which they've played this year. Is like, if you just like blind put your hands over like A, B or whatever, you would pick like Purdy to be Mahomes and Mahomes to be Purdy based on like the A dots and like how deep Purdy was throwing downfield comparatively and that sort of thing. It's a very interesting setup for the game.
That reminds me, Gretch had a really good tweet where he was kind of talking about that and the differences in boxes that those guys have seen, and why, people have such polarizing takes. I guess more so on Purdy than they do Mahomes, but he had a really good thread about what makes them different and the type of looks they see.
Yeah, Ben Threads is popping off. He's had a couple Seymour expansion on the old X apps lately. I've been really enjoying it, man. It's a good look for him, Ben. If you're watching, keep it.
Nobody puts Ben in a corner when it comes to a word count. I'll tell you that.
That was the first thing we joked about. The first time we ever had Gretch on the show, I was like, man, you write 5K words every single week. Like,
I did my DFS After Dark a couple weeks ago on my channel with Cody Main, and I was giving him shit for not knowing about the space button when he's writing, that he can actually break up 1,000-word chunks of text into multiple paragraphs. So I broke that news to him. So I don't know. I haven't checked his write-up for the Super Bowl, but you didn't know about the space button.
That's good. What do you guys say? Do you guys want to draft something or build something?
Why don't we do a couple of the drafts, and then we'll finish with some pick'em builds.
All right, let's do this. Do we want to try and, you know what? No, never mind.
Are we doing first come first serve, or are we battling out amongst the show?
Well, I think we should do one show battle. Okay. What do you guys want to play for?
Okay, 10 spot.
10 spot it is. Okay. I'll create a private draft here.
Private chat me.
Yeah. And then we'll get you guys in. And then we'll do a couple community ones because these will be really fast.
Yeah, they'll be very fast.
All right.
And it'll be fun to see them snap fill. All right. Let's go.
I'm in.
Oh, God, detect my location for the love of God.
Actually, I thought I was in. I'm still fetching.
There you
Call
go.
me a golden retriever, guys. I'm still fetching this draft.
I love their cute little words that they put on for certain things, like fetching the draft. I got a couple. So there's some people in the chat while this draft loads, because it needs to, we need to prepare ourselves for this draft to start. Everybody's looking at me as some golf thought leader because I struck gold in round 1 of the of the Farmers Insurance one. I don't know who's gonna win Waste Management, but all I know is that I draft a lot of Siwoo Kim. So I don't know. Maybe take some shots on Siwoo Kim for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. I just need to get that out of the way. I'm not a tout. I'm not a thought leader for golf. I just push buttons, folks.
Please don't tarnish the brand. You are the definitive PGA thought leader, my friend. Please.
People are looking for me for answers.
People are looking to me for answers.
They think I'm some genius. I didn't know who the guy. I found out who Alejandro Tosti was after I completed my drafts.
And I just found out who he was.
Oh, I'll never forget Alejandro Tosti. I'm going to shake his hand if I ever meet him. All right. With the inaugural Super Bowl off and on the clock draft, I'm taking Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
Seems safe. Now, this is a really interesting spot because, like, I don't want to give Pete double quarterbacks. I feel like we get absolutely crushed. But I think I like Purdy more than Mahomes.
Play some defense.
I'm doing it.
There you go. Back to the roots.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're gonna him the Mahomes Kelsey if he wants it. I don't know.
God, you're gonna make me do the Taylor Swift stack. Out of principle, I'm taking Travis Kelce first. Let the record show that. All right, back to Rotorun.
They're calling that the tortured poets build.
This is gonna be Pacheco for me. If I'm playing the Purdy thing, I want to play Pacheco from the other side.
This couldn't be easier. I'm snap picking Rice and Samuel, my two short ADOT King Summers. It's a lot going on there.
Dude, this is where the cliff there's two more picks, and then you enter the cliff.
Oh yeah, now I'm debating MVS or Jawan Jennings.
Dude, it's actually Harrison Butker season.
Oh,
if I'm already this heavy on the Chiefs, probably just lean into it.
Yeah, reminder that you have to have one of each for anyone else who joins one of these with us in a second. So this is interesting because I find myself in the same predicament as you, where it's like, okay, if I'm heavy Niners here, I should probably just tack on the Jake Moody points. But doesn't this feel like the fantasy equivalent of taking the points?
Yeah, but this is also the contest equivalent of needing to take the points.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, we're playing.
But this is the most interesting pick. This is a choose your own adventure.
This is. I've got, we're CMC, Rice, Debo. For me, I think I gotta go with the advanced metrics that tell me MVS is running 99.9% of routes. And we're just going to hope that he catches one ball.
Do you think – I think we just did like probably the chalk draft, right? Was there any pick that was even like sacrificing projection, really?
Probably the Purdy one. Fish. I mean, like, classic fish play. But, like, I think the chalk draft would be Mahomes goes at 2 and then someone decides whether they go Kelce Purdy or they go Purdy Debo or something here. And then the Kelce decision might come back to the 2 hole. Yeah. So I think the teams look as chalky as they normally would, but I don't think the order was the normal chalk.
That 2 pick is the wild card. That's where the draft starts, as we like to say around here. And then after that, everything else falls in line. Like I think that is the only wild card pick. That's the toughest pick in the room, is that 2 pick. So salute to you, John, for taking a stand.
And it is, again, like if you think about, draft slot edges, it could be a lot worse. Like if you didn't have a CMC to balance out the 2 quarterbacks, I'm trying to think if it was like, even if it was like Bills versus Eagles or something, where it's like someone's getting Josh Allen, someone's getting Jalen Hurts, and you're like having to go to battle with Stephon Diggs against those 2 teams. It's like, good luck. At least this is like a very fair first round.
This is about the best like Super Bowl that you could hope for a 3-person cash lobby if you're playing draft games.
Yeah, I mean, CMC's really the only guy who you could say lots of guys have similar ceilings as the quarterbacks, but to say a similar floor as the quarterbacks, like you just can't say that about anyone other than CMC.
Right. Yep. No, 100%. And then you also, the fact that it's full PPR and you have you have enough receiving talent and or like auxiliary talent to break the slate elsewhere too, to compete. Like nobody's going to say George Kittle can't outscore Debo and Ayuk, but it'd be a lot harder for Dallas Goedert to outscore, Devonta Smith and AJ Brown.
Yep. Yeah, and I guess the next part to think through, I mean, all of us have, Nez doesn't have a quarterback, so like the correlation stuff is less important, but like I have the premium stack, you have a premium stack there with Brock. I'm trying to even just think, like, if you were even playing in, say you did like a satellite and there was 10 of these drafts or whatever. I'm even saying, like, what would you do differently to try to give yourself even a higher ceiling? It's kind of hard. I think you'd probably take a skill position player over the kicker and just hope, hey, if I have Patrick Mahomes, I'll take Noah Gray and hope he gets a TD. Maybe that's something you do to get an edge.
Yeah. Or you play like super gal brain injury narrative where you take like Elijah Mitchell in the last round to leverage off the CMC one or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just a binary outcome. It's either
serve?
0 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's fire up a private one. Oh, we lost the screen.
Yeah,
Unless you're hiding the URL, so that way people can't join before the link's posted.
Turn me up. The last they said is that it would be a slim chance. That's what Andy Reid said yesterday as far as McKinnon being activated. His quote made it seem bearish that he was going to play to me.
One that I find really interesting is if you could set a number at the amount of carries that happen by a non-CMC or Pacheco running back.
In total?
In this game. Like, do you think Elijah Mitchell gets a carry?
Because you're saying, like, CH is probably a lock for at least one carry. Debo's probably a lock for one carry.
I was just thinking running backs for a second.
Oh, just running backs. Yeah.
Like, because I don't think, because one of my pick'em ones that I did last night when I was prepping or whatever is Elijah Mitchell lower 3.5 yards, which feels like scary on the surface, but like, I don't think he touches the football. Why would he touch the football?
Unfortunately, John, you just lost like 33% closing line value because that's at 4.5 yards now. I hate to break it to you.
Wow.
Well, now we have to get it again.
I mean, there's three ways, right? Or you were saying, how many yards were you saying? What's it at? 3.5, 4.5?
4.5.
You get the thing where McCaffrey has a really long run, right? He has like a 60-yard run, has to get spelled, and they want to run the ball again. Eli Mitchell comes in. CMC gets hurt. Eli Mitchell comes in. The Niners are up by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Like, those are the 3 scenarios where you probably get beat on that.
Yeah.
Which seems like a fair thing to assume wouldn't happen.
That's
I like it, John. I like the lower. It feels very just event based. Like, is he going to get a carry or not? And if he does, you might still be okay because he has to gain 5 yards, and it's strictly on the ground. I like it.
Like, I was looking back at, I mean, he got 4 carries last game, but it was because of like a weird situation, as you alluded to, like a long run, and then he was kind of hurt or banged up at the goal line.
He landed on his head.
On his head, yeah.
He was stretching his neck out a little bit. Yeah, it was strictly because of an injury scenario. If CMC's healthy, I like that play, man.
But Kyle Juszczyk has had like 6 carries this year, and he's been like more involved in the passing game. And then they basically never spell CMC unless it was games were out of reach, basically. I don't know. Anyways, that was kind of going down the pick'em well once I said the name of CMC. All right, should we make the chat pony up here? What do you think? 10?
Yeah,
15?
make him pony up.
25. Let's see who the real players are.
Post it.
First come, first serve. Trigger fingers in the chat.
Boom.
Go.
I'm going to be most impressed by who gets in here because this is going to show me who's got the quickest.
Ooh. All right. Here
Let's go.
We got some copy and paste kings and queens with us today. Who do we got?
B-Spurf.
B-Spurf and G for Gumby.
There we go.
G for Gumby has been winning everything in NBA recently, so he's just trying to donate a little back to me.
Yeah.
Time to give some back.
It's about
time to give back.
You can give back in a couple ways. You can become a YouTube member on the channel, or you can accept John's private 3-person drafts for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Everyone knows that's where my biggest edge lies, is these 3 bad lobbies.
Are you going to mix it up this time at the 2?
Speaking of Membies, I don't know. I was going to ask you guys. Why don't you guys make the pick at the 2 here? Speaking of Membies, though, I don't know whose channels is whose and where they all come from. But we got a bunch added here. 5 Vibes. We got Jay Kitten. We got Andy. We got Bindles. We got asking when Puck from Blake. It's coming. And then we got B Smurf. There we go. Right there.
It's only right. That.
Only
because what have you've been doing hoop streams, right, Nez?
Yeah. On Tuesdays and Thursdays we go behind the paywall and do some hoops rankings and stuff. Just a little random conversation mixed in there. Well, it's been a lot of fun. So hang out in there if you haven't yet.
I haven't even told. Oh, okay, let's make this pick. Who do you guys want to pick here? Did you like my Purdy idea, or do you like the Mahomes stuff?
Just do anything other than Purdy, so we get a different build from the 2 slot.
Okay, let's do the Mahomes and see what it looks like then.
Yeah, because I think you'll get one of Rice or Kelsey back. I don't think Spurf would do Kelsey Rice.
And I do think it's interesting in that I assume he goes Kelsey Purdy. You could sell me on, Mahomes Rice being just as good of a stack, if not even better than Mahomes Kelsey. So like the only way to get that stack would be to take Mahomes at 2. Or you could do the Mahomes Pacheco and wonder how unique is that?
That's kind of
gotta get unique in a 3-person contest.
I know. Look at my gal brain is just defaulting to being unique.
Okay, do you guys like the Rice correlation, or do you like?
I like
Pacheco?
Rice.
I would do Rice. Yeah,
I think it has to be Rice.
Okay,
but then the question is
projection in doing so. But I don't know if it manifests itself. You
gotta think easy sheet. Like we made a bet, and now like the better pick becomes Rice.
So now does Gumby get CMC and Pacheco? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
That's nice.
And he's got CMC, Pacheco, and Ayuk. I think I like Debo more than Ayuk this week.
Me too.
But if you have CMC,
Pete, you don't have to say anything.
It's okay. I do too. I just can't give in to Big Davis Maddock publicly.
I think they're side by side on the big board, which is like all you're doing. Because if you hadn't been fighting the good fight, it would be like Debo a whole round before Ayuk.
Johnny Basketball say that they have a lot of fun, have a blast with Nez, and all they do is talk shit about John. And these, I'm coming. I am showing up to these paywall streams, and I think it might start tomorrow, Nez. I might thrust myself in there.
Let's
because,
go.
Should we take the kicker or should we take the MVS with the correlation?
Yeah, I mean, let's do a Chiefs pass catcher.
Yeah, because
MVS or Noah Gray.
Moody hasn't even been that good of a kicker.
Okay, let's do MVS then. I like this.
Someone said that one of my buddies said on a redacted offshore book, there's a line of Jake Moody getting caught with an escort.
Hello?
After the game.
Sir, I was not familiar with your game.
Imagine just the sweat on that. You're like, you set your alarm early for Monday morning, 7 a.m. Blow up TMZ. Come on, give me some Jake Moody. And is that all just from the time like Jimmy Garoppolo went on a date with that one girl? I don't even know where that's coming from. Like, why is Jake? Yeah. I guess Jake Moody. I don't know if it was on this show or another one where I had read a tweet where someone said like Jake Moody definitely looks like a guy you can't trust, where you give him a 10 spot to go get beer and you never see him again, kind of thing. And then I looked at his headshot and I was like, yeah, I kind of see that.
Okay, we got to look it up in a second here.
There must be some good headlines out there, like Jake in the Moody, like Jake spotted with an escort late night after a victory. That's what you could do. You could pair that.
Oh yeah, the only mood Jake was in was a sexy one late night on the strip.
That is absurd.
This looks like evil John Warner.
He does.
Bizarro John.
Yeah,
he does. Funny John.
Yeah, this is the guy who's crashing the NBA private member stream right here.
Yeah,
that is the guy. Oh, but the reason, Nez, for that is it's trade deadline day tomorrow, and I think it's gonna make for like a crazy sweat and conversation. And I want to be part of like the live reaction to like if we get some trade news or something.
Yeah, good idea. The paywall is jumping, man. We got the the memberships are flowing, so definitely get in there if you're not yet. It's we're making it worth your while, and I do think we'll end up doing like a little members only lounge too in the Discord. We've been talking about it. I think we'll definitely capitalize on that too. So memberships are only going up, baby.
First badge bro to get caught with an escort in the members lounge. I'm taking bets right now.
No comment.
I already got it. It's Rowley.
First, he has to get in the lounge. All right.
With Rally, it's not getting caught. It's more just expected. You know, like,
yeah.
I feel like it has to be a surprise if you get caught.
So on brand.
Should we do some pick'ems? Yes, please.
Got the
I wanted to ask you guys though, what do you guys think about this in general? How they turned out? I think if you're playing the 3-person lobbies, Purdy at 2 opens the door for so much more than Mahomes at 2.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's just weird because I bet I was looking at this for Redacted too. There's 9 viable captains and there's 9 viable players here. You know, I really think you can shuffle up the second round however you like. You can shuffle up the third round however you like. And we're probably splitting hairs as far as what it is. But yeah, I don't know, like Mahomes with being able to get that second pass catcher, getting the double stack. Like if Mahomes is winning this for you, probably 2 pass catchers are coming along, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think my reasoning for Purdy at 2 from like a game theory standpoint would be you always have a back stack in the third round because the CMC is rarely going to double San Fran. So you're always going to have Ayuk, Debo, or Kittle at worst in the third. And then taking Pacheco with Mahomes feels way worse than taking Pacheco with Purdy.
Yeah.
And I
wonder if we should be thinking about Pacheco a little differently as far as his correlation with Mahomes, just because he isn't coming off the field. He is catching some passes. I mean, obviously he's not CMC Purdy type stack where you just don't even care because it's like a wide receiver. But I don't know, maybe like pure projection wise, I mean, you want Pacheco over Rashee Rice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think maybe we put ourselves at a disadvantage by giving Pacheco to the CMC player, or in this case, Gumby, but I don't know.
And because not only does he get, obviously 2 slam dunk plays, but he gets awesome leverage off of the Mahomes and Purdy teams. If he's getting the rushing touchdowns there, it's almost GG, like at that point, if he gets, multiple rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think everybody just built pretty optimally there. I mean, if things play out the way that your first round pick, or first or second round pick in Beef's first case, everything works out for you, then you played it right.
Okay, last question. Whose team do you take right now? Who you wagering on?
I'm taking Gumby.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm taking us, man.
Oh, love the blind faith.
Bet on yourself.
The number 1 Rashee Rice fanboy can't all of a sudden turn his back on the kid in the biggest game. Did you guys see the video of Rashee Rice getting a send off from his suburban neighbors? That was cute as hell.
I did not.
He lives in I'm pretty sure if I had to guess, because former Kansas Cityan over here, it's like Overland Park or something like that. And it's just, he's leaving a cul-de-sac with a cute a lot of single family homes around him, and he's leaving in his Corvette. And then it's a bunch of little kids at the sign, and they sound like me whenever I'm on a Sunday watching. They're just go she as he's pulling off in his Corvette. It's pretty awesome.
It was very wholesome.
It was.
All right.
I saw media day 1 yesterday from Jack trying to get to the bottom of the Gatorade stuff. Did you guys see that one?
Yes, I did. No comment. All right,
let's do this.
So, and I will say this is a fun one, right? Because we're not just, this is where we really need the spice filter, because we have so many spices that don't involve TDs for this game. Luckily, Nez and I have spent clearly a lot of time in here, so we kind of know where all the spices can be found.
We do, and there's a lot of yardage spice, which is, I think, kind of fun. If you have 100 plus for Rice and Kelsey. I don't know if that's changed at all for some pretty significant spice that I think you can really build some fun things around.
All right. I'm going to propose 4 different pick'ems. The first of which is the classic. We all just say, what is our goddamn favorite thing in the lobby? Just put your huevos on the table, build the entry, enjoy it. Number 2 is a rivals-based one. This isn't to preclude, rivals from being in any others, but a rivals-based one where we are trying to play some of those correlations and anti-correlations together. Number 3 is one of our classic, like we've always done on Off and On the Clock, game flow, whether it's like a double stack, we're going to play a script. If Nez wants to pull up the chair, do story time again, we're going to build one out. And then number 4 is where we get the spicy margs going. We spice that up. We get the 100Xer and we sail off into the sunset. Those are the 4 I'm proposing.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Let's start with the rivals one because there's these 2 up here already, and I think I like both of them a lot.
Yeah. I like those 2. The other rivals one that really jumped out to me, and I'm actually curious your thoughts on this, is the receiving yards Kittle versus Kelsey, because you're getting, what is it, a 26.5 yard spot last I looked, I believe, on Kittle versus Kelsey. They've added a bunch more since I last looked.
A lot of dust balls on here.
Yeah.
26.5 adjusted to the Kittle side for Kelsey Kittle.
And I think Fantasy Life is higher on Kittle than market, but our projections have Kelsey at 67.3 and Kittle at 57.7, which makes the Kittle side just an uber smash. Okay. I also think you have a couple ways of getting there. Obviously, if Kelsey does what he's done in some of these previous games, we're pretty much toast. But if Kelsey has a muted game, that's such a huge spot. Like he could literally need just like 1 or 2 catches to even get there. And then also when Kittle hits, he hits in a big play thing. So like Kittle could have like a 40-yard catch or whatever, and it would be really hard for Kelsey to separate from him with that spot. So that was just one that stood out to me.
Another thing you could add to that too is if you go into like the DVP stuff and the strength of the defense, like that linebacker core is a big strength of San Francisco, and they're 4th in DVOA against opposing tight ends, and I think they've only given up 1 100-yard game this year to opposing tight ends.
Yeah. And this also, and you also get the correlation. I don't believe we're getting a doc on it of Brock higher, so we want him throwing
a little bit of a doc.
Oh, are we? Sorry, I had rushing yards. Yeah. Okay.
4.62.
Just to check, if you do Kelsey, are you getting an actual like boost because we are fading Mahomes or no? We do.
Yes. Yeah.
To thread the needle.
Yeah. That is an absolute needle thread. Yeah. Okay.
Nez, had you looked at any other of these rivals that you liked?
Looking through them right now, I do kind of like taking the other side of Brandon Ayuk rivals. So he's up against like a lot of dudes in these in the lobby, and I like taking the opposite side of Ayuk. Even in these games with softer matchups against the Packers, against the Lions, like even just all season, really, Ayuk has not been like a high volume receiver. And now we have this Chiefs defense that, John just talked about and everybody knows is very strong, especially against opposing wide receivers. So, I mean, Kelsey, this is basically, with Ayuk's projection right now, he is projected for, I don't even think I don't see receptions actually in the pick'em lobby, but this is essentially, Kelsey's at 7 right now, 7 flat. So you're basically saying, will Ayuk get 4 receptions, or I guess 5 in this case? And I like, just off the top, the Kelsey versus Ayuk rival. I like the Kittle reception, to say Kittle will have more receptions than Ayuk in the rivals. Bri, boy or girl, not sure, mentioning Rice versus Ayuk. I'm in on that, but I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it seems like it actually seems like a bit. I'm trying to think. The one I might like the most featuring Ayuk might be Debo receptions over him. It's only a 0.5 spot. I mean, Debo had 8 receptions last week. Ayuk has been at 3 receptions the past 3 games.
Just the way that they are likely going to have to play this game, I would take Debo's end of that.
No one showed Davis that I'm agreeing to this.
You're not out here saying he's the engine and he's what makes it. It's okay, even though he may have some strong points there. You don't have to go that far.
You don't think Ayuk's going to go in there and at halftime and go give me the damn ball?
He might, but can Brock do it?
I'm in lockstep here. I'm looking at wide receiver ones against the Chief. Diggs played him twice, didn't get over 25 yards. Jefferson 28, DJ Moore 41, Chase 41, Tyreek never over 65 in their 2 matchups. Amon-Ra 70 yards, Garrett Wilson 60, Keenan Allen 55. Like, man, they have held some really talented wide receiver ones down.
I am looking at some of these dust ball ones that I had not seen previously. Although, Nez, do you have any footy takes? Butker versus Moody, straight up field goals made.
So I did on the surface like Butker versus Moody in that, but I just because Moody has been way worse in field goals, and maybe I'm overselling Butker in the field goal department for him, but I on the surface I liked Butker over Moody in that rival, but Butker's getting spotted 0.5 kicking points against Moody. I think I would take Butker in that. Just on the fact that I think the Chiefs offense will be able to do more. But it's not a strong lean. Trust me, I've had some strong convictions in the footy department. This is definitely not a game that I have a strong lean, but if you did want to play a kicking projection, I would take that.
Okay, do you have any you like, John?
My mind went blank for 1 second because Nez said on the surface 3 times, and all I heard in my head was,
"Did I say it 3 times?"
And I was like, "I look calm and ready," or whatever, like that Eminem lyric over and over again just went through my head. And then I was like, "He said on the surface again."
Sorry.
Anyways,
sometimes I get stuck in a loop.
No. That's my broken ass brain just going to like Eminem lyrics. No, I think this correlates well with this. Is what I was gonna say. Is we're painting the narrative here that the receiving yards are funneling through like this side, but then the rushing yards are funneling through the Chiefs side, and then they're kind of like, not finding success with big plays, but we're finding success with Purdy big plays on the other side. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
One dust ball one that I like, and I was just double checking the projections on it, is Noah Gray over Richie James, even with the Richie James spot. I mean, Richie James has been so uninvolved. He's getting 7.5. To me, this just comes down to, does Noah Gray get a catch?
Yeah.
So obviously you lose if neither of them get a catch, but like Noah Gray has been involved, been on the field, back-to-back games with 14% target share, more than any other pass catcher that's not named Travis Kelce or Rashee Rice. Richie James playing 20% of the snaps. I kind of like going Gray over James there.
The skies are MF and Gray. Okay, which of these got the kicker then one?
I would. I'm not pounding the table for that one. That's just for the brand.
Okay. Why can't I X out of one of these?
If you click his face,
I think you just click the yellow. Yeah. Oh.
No. Oh, there we go.
You got to
check
click
mark.
the check mark. The rivals they updated everything. The interface looks good. The highs and lowers look new and stuff, but that's a new little wrinkle.
Yeah, so we get a 15.8 on this one. So we are getting a slight dock on it, but this one tells the story. So for the audio listeners, we're going George Kittle, 26.5 receiving yards spot versus Kelsey. We're taking the Kittle side. We are taking, what is it? Pacheco versus Christian McCaffrey. Sorry, I had this one off my screen. What are you getting? 23.5 adjustment?
Yes.
We are then taking Brock Purdy, passing yards versus Mahomes. We're getting a 15.5 adjustment on his yards. We're then taking Deebo Samuel over Brandon Ayuk in receptions. Ayuk is getting a half adjustment, but we're going to take the Deebo side there. And then we get our dust ball quota met. Richie James versus Noah Gray. We're taking the Noah Gray side despite Richie James getting a 7.5 yard start. I'm down to lock it in.
I have reception yards in here for the 4.5. Do we like receptions more? I had Deebo receiving yards opposed to receptions.
I just think the way, like Ayuk, as we saw, he is always a threat for like a splash play, but if you're getting like them moving the ball and them really just peppering a guy, I feel like it will be Deebo. So I think I kind of prefer receptions.
So do I.
All right, let's do it. All right.
I got this last time too.
Did it actually, or was it just like a?
No, it was just it was just an issue, and then I was able to get it on my phone. So I will, if you can try it on your phone. I had this issue yesterday on the club.
Okay,
we will be correlated to the new updates they made.
Was it just with the Rivals one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Submit a ticket, Neumy.
Submit it. We will we'll drop links to these in the comments as well after the show. If you guys are late to the party here, we will we'll make sure we get these in there.
Okay, so Deebo okay. Yeah, go ahead. I was just gonna walk through it again, but
yeah, no. I'm trying to get it going on mobile here too, because this is what I had to do yesterday on the club. I don't know why that's happening. Yeah, it's great. Nez, vamp for a sec while we get these.
Yes. Hello, guys. Some other here I am. Some other projections that I'm looking at that I think are nice are the just kind of playing the game flow theory. So if you are liking the Ayuk side of things, I think what that's telling us is that likely they're playing catch up and Ayuk is getting peppered. So if you're playing Ayuk, I would probably do like an Ayuk paired with Pacheco greater than McCaffrey, and then maybe tack on a third. Another thing that I like doing is finding a spice that I enjoy and just doing a 2-pick spice. So normally the math will tell you that if you're doing the normal 3, 6, 10, you want to get yourself to, and by that I mean multiplier. You want to get yourself to 3 picks, but I haven't back tested this with the math, but I would think that if you're doing a spice at that point, that math gets changed, and at that point the probabilities and the return that you get kind of changes there. So I'm okay with doing pick 2 if one of those picks is a spice, but generally we of course would want to keep this as a pick 3. But that's my spiel. I'm not sure if that's a correct train of thought or not, though.
So I did just lock it in mobile. I put it in the private chat. Mine, I believe the difference of something that was happening there with the web versus the mobile is the mobile one came out to 12x instead of the 15. So
yeah,
that must be.
That's what I was about to ask you, if the same thing happened to you, because that happened to me as well.
But Nez, let's use that as a segue into the game flow. Pick 'em here. Tell us a story.
All right. I think the most realistic story that I could tell is that the Chiefs just dink and dunk all over these Niners. But one thing that you did mention is that we haven't seen the Mahomes ceiling explosion. So this may be threading too thin of a needle, but if you do like Rice receptions and Kelsey receptions and then a lower on Mahomes fantasy points, get yourself a little bit of extra boost there, and then play Ayuk is now way more a part of the game plan because they are taking longer shots. I think that's like a good start. Let's just see what that comes out to, because I do think that we'll get some. I only want to do that threading the needle stuff if we get the projection or the payout boost, which I do think we will. If you do Mahomes lower fantasy points.
Yeah, so Mahomes lower 19.95 and then going higher on Kelsey 7 receptions and higher Rashee Rice 6.5 receptions.
Yeah. Okay, we get a little baby boost.
7.66.
So we're getting up there. And then on the Niners side, then what we're saying is, and then you could even think of this in multiple ways, right? Where maybe this game is really slow and they're dinking and dunking, but the game is playing slow and they're killing clock. And then we can do lowers on some of these Niners as well. I mean, I hate to play a lower, but we look smart. And it kind of makes sense from a game flow standpoint where these guys are catching passes, they're killing clock, but they're not actually scoring a lot, or at least Mahomes isn't part of that. So you could look at Pacheco and say, well, the scoring is coming from Isaiah Pacheco, and then we just need one more Niner to complete this. We are getting a little docked on the touchdowns. It's not a 1x, but you could do fantasy points on there, and I don't think that it'll be a dock. You could test that out in different ways if you want to just throw in like that DJ guy just to see what that next pick would be.
My brain's just like, how do we get 13 catches from these two guys and keep Mahomes under 20? Is that like normal? Does that happen?
Well, he had 8 receptions. Rashee had 8 receptions last week. Kelsey had 11, and Patrick Mahomes had 15 fantasy points.
There it is. So it is normal, and Pacheco scored.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So
now we need one more Niner, and you could do this in multiple ways. Mm-hmm. You could play this. The game is slow, and the Niners are not able to have enough time of possession to meet their projections. Like if you did a lower on McCaffrey rushing yards because the Chiefs are bottling them up and they're controlling the game, and the Niners just can't afford to rush. So you can do like lower on McCaffrey rushing attempts. You know, like can they afford to give him the rock 19 times if the Chiefs defense is bottling them up and they're dinking and dunking and killing the clock?
Yeah,
I
feel like
the attempts more than yardage.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's his 19 rushing attempts? That kind of makes sense. I mean, it was only against Detroit where he cleared that. And that way you're just not sunk by a big play early in the game.
Yeah, because we all know that can definitely take place.
Prior to last week, the last time he had 19 rushing attempts was week 12.
Yeah. That seems solid with this specific game script, and we are getting, I put that in, you get up to a 28.34.
That's
X
fun
on it. Yeah. I like it.
Oh yeah, just get us a little extra boost on the payouts.
Yeah.
Earn a little extra coin.
All right, we're gonna call, so we got a rivals build. We're gonna call this one the KC Thread the Needle. Thread the Needle build. Now we need what was our we have our play the best plays, and then we'll wrap up with an allspice one.
Oh hell yeah.
I will say, like, this kind of dovetails with what I did with the Gray Richie James, but I do really like Noah Gray higher than 11.5 receiving yards. It's definitely one of my favorites with how much he's been on the field.
11.5. Yeah.
What's your favorite on the board, guys?
Mine's the Elijah Mitchell one.
Okay, let's do it.
Is the lower?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
I love it.
We're just going to keep this as 3. This is so surgical. Oh my god.
Yeah, Nez, give us bring us home. We'll keep it as a 3-burger.
I like the playing the fantasy like projections game and saying Purdy has more passing yards than, oh wow, we are way too sharp. We just broke the site. I like the Purdy rivals. Purdy passing yard rivals with Mahomes.
Yeah.
And we won't get anything on I hope we don't get docked. But we're still in the rivals tab.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so nice. We get a boost on it because you go from a 6 to a 7.8x, because this is a fun one, right? Where I wonder, cover your ears, dude. Underdog team.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say it.
Nope. Serious, just
all right. We're gonna lock this one as a 3.
That's fucking sharp, man.
Let's add 2 more to that one because I feel like that's a really nice core.
That's the core. Yeah.
Yeah. This is where my mind went as well as Clay's. I think adding the MVS spice to this one feels really good too.
Yeah, I mean, the MVS spice is my favorite. It was going to come preloaded into our spice build, but if we want to extend this one, like I said, I cannot complain. What if we kind of mash up? This can end up this bonus one. Let's throw in the MVS spice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's higher than 39.5. And then did we have another favorite from the rival that would make sense here?
This one's gonna disgust you guys. I think they use a lot of Kyle Juszczyk in their zone run scheme, and I think he doesn't run the football, but he does exactly what he did last week, where you get these broken plays where he gets like a block and then cut and finds himself open. He has multiple games with over 20 yards receiving this year. I think picking a rivals with like Juszczyk versus someone I kind of like on the receiving side.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
33 yards last week, 20.
Let's do him straight up versus Richie James, because he's getting the 0.5, so you win that one if neither of them get a catch.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's fun.
Okay, so
please don't
go into
bury
the rivals.
Richie James. I like that one, John. That gets us up to a 65 on this.
No shit.
God bless America. There you go. TM is on this one.
There's the Purdy, and then good luck. I'll type Kyle and see what happens.
Yeah, that's much better.
And then he gets the adjusted. So if they both go for 0, we got that one.
I'm calling this one the Dust Ball homage.
Yes.
All right.
Can you throw that in the private chat, John?
Yep.
Thanks, man.
And now for the grand finale, we build a 100x Spicer. We just got to start it with the Scantling. I mean, 39.5.
I've never heard MVS called Scantling before, but now I'm juiced. I'm energized.
On the surface, his name is.
On the surface, this guy looks calm and ready to me.
All right. Do you got it? There's a ton of fun spices here, like just yards wise, right? Like if you want to play the Kittle explosion game, if you want to play the Ayuk explosion game without the touchdown angle, I mean, these things are here. I don't mean to lead the witness. What is your guys' favorite spice?
I need to recheck some of these because I was playing a couple different versions of the spice. I mean, this one doesn't feel great, and I think you guys can. You can push back on this. I'm not like pounding the table for it, but I really do like a Mahomes scramble touchdown in these games. It's 2x. We've seen him like run the ball a lot more, and it's the goddamn Super Bowl big game. Excuse me.
Thank you.
I could see him scooting his way, bootleg style, into the end zone. So I kind of like a Mahomes rushing touchdown, rushing or receiving, mind you. So
I'll just let you know right now, if you put MVS spice, Mahomes rushing touchdown spice, you just need 3 regular picks.
It's too hot.
100x.
All right, it's too hot. Let's.
I mean, it's hot, but
It's a little too hot. I'm about to expand like all these picks and just put in like an X, and I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way and try to find any variation of spice that exists in this game. That's really the only way to do it.
All right, so take out the Mahomes. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, it's too hot. It's too hot.
It's too spicy.
It is. We can't leave any excess spice on the table.
I want to refresh here. We lost the Brock Purdy 1.5 passing TDs.
Adjusting the spice there.
Yeah, you're right. I don't see that.
I wonder what's up with that, because I wanted to temperature check you guys. I built this one this morning with the lower on that passing touchdowns for Brock Purdy. That lower on Debo rushing attempts at 3, lower on Travis Kelce receiving and rushing touchdowns 0.5, higher on the Pacheco 67 rushing, and then lower on the Elijah Mitchell 3.5 rushing yards.
Okay.
That's the zero fun. 4 out of 5 lowers 1.
I'm looking through some spices right now. Sorry.
I'm just doing some math for us here. I'm trying to see what multiplier we need
MVS.
to. What's that?
4-leg 100x MVS Mahomes.
So
use check
to get so with the MVS 2.5, you need 3 regulars and a 2x to get to 100. So Nez, the Mahomes is fine for getting us there. That Mahomes rushing TD that gets us to 100x clean, because 1.75 is short.
And when it comes to 100x, I mean, it doesn't have to be 5, right? We don't have to do a penta. We can make this a quad if it gets us to is it possible to get 104?
Oh yeah, I mean,
has anybody ever done
it? Dude, I think if you add 2 rivals to this, you can get there. Isn't that what you were just explaining, Pete? We just need 2 regulars or 3 regulars?
Well, I hadn't done it with 4 yet, but yeah.
I think this would get us to 90x if my math is correct. It would be like 4.5 times 20, which would make this 90x if we did 3 regulars with this.
Yeah, I just put a couple in. 3 regulars. Yeah, 3 regulars with these 2 spice gets us to 100x.
Oh shit!
Unless I'm missing like depending on the pick, if there's a correlation die. I mean, you can. So doing the. Oh yeah, they won't let us use the Purdy over Mahomes once we have Mahomes in there.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, you can't. It counts as him twice.
Yeah, it would be the Pacheco. You could do the Pacheco or any of the other ones we liked. The use check. I actually really like that use check over Richie James. Now, the fact that you're free rolling it if neither of them get a catch, which is that honestly the most likely outcome?
I think so, right? Like it probably should be just even, so that way they push. But
yeah, guys, we're literally we have too much spice. We're trying our extra spice is not rewarded. They will not let us go.
What?
Yeah, we started so spicy.
It was unbelievably spicy. The defense spice is just like, these feel insane. I was looking. They feel insane.
Chase Young's gonna get that name value boost.
Yeah.
So one thing you could do here. So this is the option. We do 1 more 2x spice, so it's a 4-legger that gets us to 100x, or we do a 5-legger with 2 more regular picks.
Let's see. Let's. I mean, any other spices that you guys are into here?
I kind of like it's similar to playing the Kittle over Kelsey, but and it's kind of like the MVS one that like when Kittle does hit, he hits in such a big way. So getting the 2.25 on him over 79.5 is kind of interesting to me.
Okay.
But that
2.25 is what I like most about that is the multiplier. Like if this was like 1.5
right.
on that, like that's a fat multiplier for a guy that is like the highest ceiling like one of the higher ceiling tight ends in football.
That's my thought on it as well.
I can get down with that.
So then we would just have to add one more regular to get to 100 with this one.
Oh yeah, because we don't. Or what do you have in there right now?
I got the Kittle one. I got the Mahomes touchdown one. And
mine is showing 100x. Oh, I have the use check Richie James in mine.
Oh, okay. That's perfect. That can just be our
Now we realize that's the free square.
If anybody watching has those specials, that the Underdog Picks released a special. You can use the special with spice. So if you like these spices, throw it in there. Oh, John. Oh, baby. 100x. Let's go.
There we go. It's spicier. You can't get spicier than 100x, my friends.
Love it.
This is the spiciest of the spiciest.
Well, this is fun. And let's just, normally, like I said, if you guys build fun pick'ems, post them in the Discord. If you post the link, don't post a screenshot. I'm not going in there and manually building that. Post the goddamn link and I will tell you. Yeah, I'm ready to blast off on pick'ems this Super Bowl. So build me some correlated masterpieces and drop them in the Discord.
Thanks, Cubert.
Counterpoint. This is the Super Bowl, aka the big game.
It's a great point. That's a great point. I can't refute that. I got nothing for you. It's just I like the pick.
Yeah, just trust the process.
Not indicative of future ones.
All right, dudes. We the haters said we couldn't go 90 plus minutes on the big game. The haters were wrong because we were able to talk about the Smith and Jigba brothers and Najee Harris and all of that good stuff. Yeah, I'm taking off to Arizona tomorrow. So if you want to follow the Underdog channel, we'll get some streams fired up over there over the weekend. What do you guys have planned for the next few days?
Members only stream in some form or fashion tomorrow, no doubt. Keeping the memberships healthy, doing that. And then Friday, I think we'll do something, John. Either more pick'ems. There's going to be good basketball on Friday. There's a show on Friday as well. But yeah,
Friday will be variety hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
beautiful.
We're a variety show now.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate you guys hanging out. And enjoy your big game weekend. Like I said, we will huddle and figure out our plan for going forward. We'll, get me, turning into a multi-sport athlete. We'll figure that out. I'm sure we'll get some big board drafts going, all of that good stuff here post Super Bowl. But yeah, have loved doing this NFL version of the show with you guys. Truly a highlight of my week, capping off a bunch of research, chopping it up with you guys and building pick'em. So thank you for a very fun season, BadgeBros.
We appreciate you, Pete. Thank you as well. This is a blast. I'm excited to see where this goes from here.
All right. Appreciate you all. For John, for Nez, for even Neumy. I'll include him here. I'm Pete. This has been Off and On the Clock. Enjoy the big game. We'll see you guys next time.